a little bit more engaging for me to see people rather than see just names, because many of the names I don't know. That would be absolutely super. I really appreciate that. And secondly, if you're running off an iPhone or an iOS, can you turn it to landscape, because it fills the screen up better rather than having it. It just helps my OCD. That's all. Thanks very much. That's good, kind of you. I always like to have a little bit of fun just to see who's just got up. So can we just all stand up so I can see what's below the waists? No, I'm only joking. Only joking. Anyway, right. Hey, we're going to go at 100 miles an hour this afternoon. It's going to be fun. I'm going to really enjoy it. I've been doing lots of these, and I see some people are glutton for punishment. They've come back for more. They've been on 1 or 2 of my recordings. So very welcome to all of you guys. I'm going to split the talk. It's not a training. It's not a presentation. It's a chat, but it's one way.
Great, thanks.
It's me to you. So I'm going to split it into 4 sections. I'm going to talk about the company, what we've achieved, why you should be proud of what we've achieved, the strength of the company. Then we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about the calamity and the challenges that face our British public right now in the coronavirus lockdown. Then we're going to talk a little bit about how we can help those people and how we can help them massively. And then the 4th quarter is some scripts and ideas that have worked for me belly to belly, which I know transfer screen to screen. A bunch of one-liners, a couple of jokes, a few stories, and then we'll finish up and then we'll take any questions, okay? So I just want to say this. I'm often accused of speaking very fast. I've tried asking my audience to listen quicker. It don't work. So what I'm going to do is at the end of my call with you guys today, I'm going to send Tom a summary of the call, but particularly attention on that summary. We'll have all the scripts. So you haven't got to worry about writing all the scripts down at 100 miles an hour. And then tonight, after Antiques Roadshow, going, what the bloody hell did I write? Because you can't read your own writing. So I'm going to send Tom the scripts, and I'm also going to send everything over to him. So that's a little bit about the housekeeping done, I think. So let's crack on. Oh, the other thing I've got to say, I must say this. I'm very black and white. So for those of you who don't know me, I just tell it the way it is. So if the odd swear word drops in, I apologise. If you don't like what I say, I apologise. It's not intentional. I just tell it the way it is, the way I see it. And my talk this afternoon is comprised of some absolute facts, some absolute principles and opinions from me, a bunch of stuff that I have elicited from the television and from journalists. So you know it's going to be 100% true. I just wanted to say that up front so that it's just a smorgasbord of stuff, okay? So cracking on. If I had a branding, if I had a tattoo gun right now, the one word I'd want to tattoo right across your forehead would be services. The word services. You should congratulate yourselves. Out of all the network marketing companies in the UK, you chose to get involved with not only the best, but you chose to get involved with the one that's got the best approach to the market, because we're dealing with services rather than products. And that is a real key word. It's a theme throughout my whole talk this afternoon, because that was the one thing that excited me the most back in 1996 when I very first looked at this company. And I've actually been around the industry for 37 years. I got involved in network marketing in 1983. And when I looked at this in 1996, I got really excited. Here was a British company that were coming into the UK marketplace, and they were going to offer services to the British public. And it was the first company to do so with any substance. And that really excited me. And I thought, this is great. You know, I can go out, I can get a customer, do the job well, and then the company will take care of all the billing, all the managing of the money. They'll take care of anything that needs to be delivered, but there's nothing to be delivered in services in the initial stages. And I can just get on and get more and get more and more and more and more customers. And that was the one thing that excited me back in 1996. And I want to share with you from the bottom of my heart, that is still the one thing that is the most exciting thing to me today. The fact we're involved in services and not a product-based company. It's so exciting, especially in these unprecedented times of lockdown. You know, we're not involved. You know, if you was involved with makeup, you're involved with skincare, you're involved with weight loss or vitamins or any of that stuff where you rub it on your tummy, wake up the next morning 2 inches thinner. You're involved with any of that stuff, then there's a potential supply chain problem, because a lot of the ingredients come from the Far East. So I can tell you that my friends and colleagues around the world in network marketing are they give their right arm to be where you're all sitting right now with this company, with services and with the technology that we've got. So let me share the story with you. Come on a journey with me. And I saw this business in November 96, and I started promoting it in 97, in February 97. And for those of you who don't know me, my background was I had 2 other jobs when I first joined Utility Warehouse. I used to get up in the morning, 6 o'clock, have a shower, chuck some coffee and toast down me, get to the station, get on a train, get into London for 7:30. And a friend of mine gave me a job on a building site as a labourer, 60 quid a day. I then used to not have a lunch break, come home at 4, have another shower, chuck some tea down me and go out in the evening and sell education program for a company called the Student Support Centre, where they did videos based on maths and English to help mums and dads with their children and skill their children up so that they could pass exams. I wasn't a teacher, I was a salesman. And all the time I was driving around, I was on the phone making appointments, and at weekends I worked flat out making appointments and talking to people on the phone. So I started to promote Utility Warehouse in February 1997. And we raised £1 million on the Offic stock market in May 1997. And we got started. And in September 97, I got my very first check. And it was for £94. And I'd been promoting the business for best part of 8 months. So if you divide it out, I actually got about 11 odd quid a month. Now, if I all sent you home tonight at about 6 o'clock with the inspiring story of making an extra 11 quid a month, I'm sure most of you would be underwhelmed. But for me, it wasn't the money. It was the fact the British public were prepared to switch. Because back then, we only had least cost routing. And the people in the market were BT, 9X, Telewest, Cable and Wireless, and Mercury. That was it, 5 companies. Today, there's about 75. But what it proved to me was that an unknown company offering to put all your utilities on one bill, your telephone calls on one bill at that point, the British public were prepared to switch. So that proved to me that the concept was sound. So I got really, really, really excited in September 1997. But I've got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I was super pissed off in October. I really was, because the company turned around to me and they said, we're going bust. I've just put all this effort in. And I mean, a lot of effort, holding down 2 jobs and building this part-time. And then the original owners, they'd made a huge mistake. They'd outsourced everything. They'd outsourced the printing. They'd outsourced the box manufacturing. And for those of you that have been in business, what's the one thing you lose when you outsource everything? You lose control. So, you know, our printing was coming in late, the boxes were coming in late, and the idiots had actually told the box manufacturer, we'll take 10,000 boxes a month from day one. From day one. It wasn't until 2009 that we busted through 10,000 customers a month. So that shows how far they were out, like 12 years out in terms of their projections. However, the good news was Charles Wiggoder came along in February 1998 and he bought the company. And he paid £2 million for the company and he put £2 million in working capital. Now, it's only fair I tell you a little bit about Charles. You know, not often you meet someone who's got 4 million quid in their back pocket. So let me tell you a little bit about Charles's background. Charles got a 2-1 at university in accountancy, went and worked for KPMG, then got headhunted by Carlton Communications, and then set up his own company called People's Phone. And People's Phone, late 80s, early 90s, People Phone had 400 retail outlets when phones were this big, and had 10% of the UK market. And Charles was doing very nicely, thank you very much. And then the big beast came along, Vodafone, and they said, we want to buy you. And Charles said, well, I'm sorry, not for sale. And they said, no, you don't understand, we want to buy you. And Charles said again, I'm sorry, it's not for sale. And they said, we want to give you 77 million quid for it. And Charles said, I'm sorry, it's not for sale, but all his shareholders said, we're selling. Because they put in like 5 grand and they were getting back like 400,000 or 500,000. And you don't turn that kind of profit down. So he got sold. And Charles was in his early 30s, 34 years old, multi-millionaire, and he went off and played backgammon with Omar Sharif for a couple of years and cards, and he's an international bridge player. He's a very, very good bridge player. But he got bored. And then he met a guy called Richard Michel, who was our finance director at the time, at a Swiss banking called Canapé and Champagne evening. And they got chatting, and Richard told him about this little fledgling company called Telecom Plus, which is the holding company to Utility Warehouse. And it was going bust. So that's how Charles came to be involved, way back then in February 1998. But what was brilliant for us was it reignited his dream. It reignited his passion. It gave him the fire in his belly back to build a massive, great, successful company that he'd done before, but it got taken away from him. So for the benefit of the new people and for a refresher of some of the people on the call, let me just run through what happened. These are just some of the things that we've achieved over the last 2 decades, and you should be proud of all of this. Charles brought mobile to us in April 98. Then in 2002, we went into broadband. 2005, we got into gas and electricity. 2007, cashback card. 2009, we had 200 minis on the road. 2012, Pizza Tuesday. 2015, we got a new NHQ. 2016, we launched the Daffodil Project. 2017, we come up with Quip and the new insurance services. 2019, we launched the UW Stories. 2020, we rebranded our whole company, and we did we're the first company out the FTSE 250 to run a virtual corporate event with over 6,000 people attending, and that was Express Day. And many of you attended on that, but it was online. So that's a little bit of the chronological history. When I started, there was 3 directors, 2 staff and 2 partners. As I sit and talk to you today, there's over 2,000 members of staff and there's over 40,000 partners. So pretty damn good growth in just over 2 decades. But here's what's really excited me about the company was the speed at which they moved when they saw what was happening with coronavirus. Andrew immediately went out and ordered 1,500 laptops and repositioned 1,500 staff from our NHQ to work at home. And he got them all geared up, all password, everything was seamless. We did that in 5 days. So right now, as we sit and talk, your partner services, your customer services, your debt management, your accountancy, your finance, your shipping, all being run from home. And we've got about 50 people at NHQ that are key people that are required to be there. They also, put the remote sign-up mechanism into place, which I'll talk about more in a minute. Got virtual ops up there. Do you know with the ops right now, we're getting 1,600 on an op on a Monday. That's more than we got out of a whole month with live ops across the whole of the UK. So one evening, we're now getting 1,600 people attend. The leadership on this call and myself and others, we talk to Andrew regularly on a weekly basis. So the point I'm saying is the company moved incredibly quickly. Now, I put that down to Charles's vision. Charles is our executive chairman. And Charles realised, he had the foresight back in 2007 to realise he needed a running mate. He needed someone that he could teach, take under his wing, a protege, and pass on his skills and knowledge, because he wasn't going to be able to run the company forever. So Charles brought in Andrew Lindsay in 2007. And Andrew's a young CEO. He's 42 years old. Andrew then surrounded himself with his people, and Andrew brought in a guy called Stuart Burnett 2 or 3 years ago. Stuart is our Chief Operating Officer. He's in his early 30s. And between the two of them, they saw what was happening with this pandemic and this virus, and they moved like the speed of sound. They just moved. Get the computers in, get the staff at home, take care of our staff. They've got to be safe, because if we haven't got safe staff, we can't function. Make sure the channel have got the tools that they need to work the business. And they moved just so quickly, which was really, really impressive. They also sorted out Quip. So we've now got supporting Quip. We've now got a fantastic £50 refer a friend for our customers. They got a new tracker online, which they launched. We repositioned our new trust so that we supported NHS Frontline for a short period of time, hopefully. And we'll go back to Oceans with the plastics later on. So let me tell you, friends I've got around the world could give their right arm to be with this company right now. They have moved super efficiently, super quick. But more importantly as well, for you guys that are building a long-term residual business for your family and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren, is the strength of the company. Because for those of you into finances, we have a very strong balance sheet. We're one of the very few companies that have committed to pay our dividend, which will be in June, July, whereas everyone else is cutting it, because we are strong. We also have a £150 million line of credit with the British banks. So the other great benefit, and there's 2 other benefits I want to share with you tonight, is that Andrew and Charles are both independently wealthy. Charles is always in the Sunday Times rich list, about number 150, 160, worth many, many, many millions. And Andrew is also independently wealthy. And the great benefit to us as partners and part of the Purple Army is when they sit down and make decisions, they make them for the company and not their pocket. That is a huge, huge, huge asset for us. when we're out talking to potential partners, or we're talking screen to screen as we are at the moment. And the other massive benefit, and this is thanks to all of you on the call tonight and our other fellow partners across the UK, is the quality of the customers that you brought to the table. So you brought your friends, your family, your colleagues, your associates, people you met at Win a Mini, people on door knocking, people you've built a relationship with. So the demographics of our customers is very, very high. And that was proven when we did our March bill run. So on the 31st of March, we ran the bills for all of our customers, and we took in about £70 million, which is roughly what we expected to take in. So we didn't have this big falling off a cliff. We didn't have people going, don't pay that. We won't, Telecom Plus won't pay that. Utility Warehouse don't need that. I think you'll agree right now, broadband and mobile is up there with oxygen. It's that valuable, because without it, we haven't got the connections. And that's the one thing I think humans strive for right now in this lockdown environment, is not having the connections that we used to have. So really, really, really well done to the company. Well done to you. You know, you're in the right place at the right time. You know, all your efforts and all your time that goes into building your business, whether in lockdown or not in lockdown, you know, the fact that it's willable, I just think is so fantastic. So fantastic that you can will it to your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. Your effort is not wasted. And that was always Charles's dream from day one, to create something that left a legacy for us all. So here's something that's really interesting. I don't really talk about other companies that much, but because they annoy me. But I just want to mention Uswitch, because Uswitch put an article on the Times the other day, which is really interesting. They said that in lockdown, the average family would be spending £3 to £4.80 a week more on their energy. Why? Real simple, guys. Some of you are living in an extended family environment that isn't normal, because you've got your kids back from uni, or your parents are with you, or whatever. But some of you have got an extended family environment. There's a lot more cooking going on, isn't there? There's a lot more home cooking. I mean, not from me, but I mean, a lot of people out there are doing a lot more home cooking. If you've got more people in the house, you've got more showers. And people that are depressive or suffer from anxiety tend to have more baths. And when they have more baths, they sit there with the iPad and they just top the hot water up. So there's a lot more people using a lot more, I like that, a lot more energy. And that's great for our company, because it gives us increased turnover and profit. But it's also great for you, because that's more commission. So Art Jonak said this time last week, Art Jonak said that he believes that Utility Warehouse, when the coronavirus is over and we're all out of it and we're back to the new world, he believes that we will be looked at as the model that other companies should have followed. He said you're world class in what you've done. And his exact words were, it's so unusual to find a company that put sustainability and resilience before growth and profit. Therefore, their number one concern was making sure their staff were safe. That was their number one concern. Number two concern, making sure the channel, us, had the tools to work with to go out and help people. So, you know, you're in the right place at the right time, with the right company, with the right financial backing, with the right tools. And it's just a fantastic place to be, especially as we're with services. So let's have a look at what's going on out there with the people we haven't spoken to yet. What are they worried about? What are they concerned about? There's just a few crises going on worldwide, I think, you know. Health crisis, supply chain crisis, unemployment crisis, economic crisis, equity crisis, oil crisis, housing crisis, domestic violence crisis, homeless crisis, mental health crisis. A lot of stuff going on. And there's one word that permeates through all of those crises and through all the people out there. And that is fear. F-E-A-R. People are genuinely fearful. And fear, for the Purple Army, stands for face everything and rise. That's our responsibility as a team, to get out there, face whatever we can when we're on the phone call, when we're screen to screen, do whatever we can to approach people. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. I believe that we are in such a privileged position to still be able to function and work and get customers and get partners, that we have a duty of responsibility to talk to absolutely everyone. That's my belief. So why are people fearful? I'm going to give you a bunch of stats now. Tom will get these in my notes, so don't worry about writing them down. The BBC did a recent survey. Of the survey, 20% said they were worried about mental health, 11% anxiety, and 7% depression. This is going to be the worst economy when we come out of this since 1920. My personal opinion is when we come out of this, and we'll come out of this, mark my words, we'll get out of this, but when we come out and you look down your high street, you're going to see absolute carnage. Absolute carnage. And when you look at our manufacturing supply chain, absolute carnage. When you look at the number of people unemployed, through the roof. Reed Recruitment, a big recruitment agency, 1 week before lockdown, they had 59,000 jobs on their books. 1 week after lockdown, 23,000. Many of those with supermarkets on minimum wage. McKinsey Global, which is a big consultancy firm out of London, it's worldwide, said they would not be surprised to see 26% of the EU employees lose their jobs. That includes us at the moment. 26%, that's a quarter. 20% of the FTSE have cancelled their dividends. Why is that important? Because charities and individual investors require them for income. Pension funds require them to pay out their pension account holders. So there's a big worry from our senior citizens that their pensions are going to drop. 1,000 mortgages were removed from the market within 24 hours of the Bank of England saying, okay, let's have interest rate at 0.1%. And here's the biggest figure, which is staggering to me. This is such a big figure. I had to double check it. 82 billion pound, that's a billion, 82 billion pound is tied up in house sales, 373,000 house transactions that are frozen in time. Because you can't buy a house or sell a house legally. You can't move a tenant in or move a tenant out. It's just stuck, just frozen in 82 billion quid. The economy's losing about £2.5 billion a day. 1 in 33 on a 0 hours contract. That's 1 million people, guys. 1 in 2 of our lorries are idle. 25% of businesses are shut down across the UK. This is a staggering fact, a quarter of UK households have less than £100 in savings. A quarter. Hope you start to see how much of an opportunity we have to help people. Companies going bust. You've seen this in the paper. You've seen this on the news. You know, Debenhams has gone, Oasis has gone, Warehouse is gone, Cath Kidston is gone. Philip Green's looking at putting 100 outlets of Dorothy Perkins, Topshop and Miss Selfridge into administration. BA have just announced they're going to make redundant, not furlough, make redundant up to 12,000 people. I've got a friend of mine who's very high up at Gatwick. He said, if that actually happens and BA withdraw, it totally puts the effectability of Gatwick running in jeopardy, and they might have to shut the whole airport. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Government thought they furloughed 3 million people. It's more likely to be 12. Big question for you. Who's going to pay for all this? Who's going to pay for all this? We are. You mark my words. Next 2 or 3 years, tax is going to go through the roof. The smart people, if they believe that, will make sure they're not paying them because they'll have a second stream of income with us. And they'll already be prepared because they'll have residual income coming in. But we'll end up paying for it. People say to me, Steve, you know, when we get back to normal, what do you mean when we get back to normal? There ain't going to be a normal. It's going to be a new world. It's going to be a completely new world. So look, we can't blame people for being fearful. I just want to give you all those kind of negative, horrible stats. We're going to get on the good stuff in a minute. I wanted you to realise the depth of the economy right there. What's happening there? It's diabolical. You know, 25% of all our businesses across the UK are shut. It's unbelievable. But we can definitely help these people. Because we can. Most people want to reduce their financial footprint. So what can you know? We've got fantastic services to help people reduce their financial footprint. We've got fantastic business opportunity to help people make some extra money. As I said before, I feel it's our duty and responsibility to talk to absolutely everyone. Everyone. Let me tell you why. Because you never know whose life you can change. You never know whose life you can change. You know, if you're on this call right now thinking, well, I don't know many people, just get your mobile phone out, start at A and don't stop till you get to Z. You know a lot of people. If you're still struggling, this might be a pleasure for some of you. It might be a pain for others. And it might be a new concept for some. But just imagine you're going to get married again. Is it a pleasure? Is it a pain? Who's coming on the bride's side? Who's coming on the groom's side? Wedding planners say that when they book a wedding in normal circumstances, 2 to 250 people is the national average of people that attend. So who do you know? Who do you know? People in your Genie right now that are inactive, phone them. People that are greyed out in your Genie, phone them. Why? Because when they made a decision to become inactive, their circumstances were very different to what they are today, I guarantee you. Give them a call. Find out what they're doing. Find out how they're coping. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. I've networked through 4 recessions, ladies and gentlemen. 1987, when George Soros broke the bank, Black Monday. Some of you on this call remember that. 1993, when interest rates were a whopping 16%. Who remembers that? 16%. Look at them today. What a 0.1. You tell the kids that, they don't believe it. 16% to 0.1. Unbelievable. 2003, when lastminute.com fell over and all the other .com companies followed suit. And then we had 2008, where the government had to bail the banks out. And by the way, the total cost of that was 1.2 trillion. So when you hear the government talking about how many billions they put into the NHS, bear in mind the benchmark to the banks. So what's interesting for me is I was in network marketing in every single recession. And in every single case, my business boomed. Why? More people looking, more people worried, more people concerned, more people realizing they can't rely on the old model. They can't rely on, Lehman Brothers. Who would have thought Lehman Brothers, a big national bank, was going to go bust? You remember the pictures of them walking out the door with their boxes. People are going to be looking. It's going to be a foolish individual who says, well, when we get back to normal, I'll just carry on. 2008 was when the last recession started. In the 3 months before 2008, Jog Ashoka, Tamsin Ford and Stuart Ritchie joined my business right at the beginning of the last recession. They didn't worry about what the press was saying. They didn't worry about what the papers were saying. They just got on and built a business. So all I'm saying to all of you on this call, no matter what state of play your business is in right now, just go. When we come out of this, we're going to be in a big recession, depression. Just go to work, build your business. Our business absolutely booms when we've got adversity and we've got recession, depression. Also, back in 2008, our turnover as a company was 200 million and we had 20,000 partners. Our turnover 1 decade later was 800 million and we had over 40,000 partners. Companies like Groupon launched in 2008. Uber, Instagram and Slack, 2009. Massive companies. Didn't worry about the recession, just got on and built it. So one of my messages to all of you on the call is don't worry about coronavirus. I know it's concerning. Don't worry about the recession. Get on and do what you can do. Control the controllables. That's all you can do. You can control the controllables. If you can't control it out there, let it go up here because it will just tie it up. In every adversity, there is massive opportunity. People in the past that have said, are you still doing that utility warehouse, whorehouse, who house thing? Are you still peddling the gas and electricity? All the people that have put you down, knocked you, taken the mickey out of you, mainly friends and family, people close to you normally, go back, talk to them. Because when they said that, their circumstances weren't what they are today. They've changed. It's a wake-up call for a lot of people. When you realise that 1/4 of all households have got less than 100 quid behind them, people need this. And they need it now. They don't need it in 2 months, 3 months. They need it now. So, what are some of the people out there thinking? I've got to share something with you. I know you might find this a bit weird, but some people have actually really enjoyed being in lockdown. They actually want it to continue. They got closer to the people they love and care about. They've been out to spend some time with their children. They got all the odd jobs done that they've been threatening to do for a decade. Okay, they've built a really good relationship with their vegetable patch, or they created one. There's a lot of reasons why people love the lockdown. Another reason people quite like the lockdown is they have time to think. And many of the British public have been thinking, in the past, I used to chuck my breakfast down me, start the car up, go up the road, sit in a traffic jam, breathe dirty air, get to work for a boss who never respected me, never gave me any credit, never even gave me any appreciation. I was told where to park, where to sit, when to have a coffee break, lunch break, afternoon break, when to go home, we're not going to have a holiday, we're not going to have a pay rise, all controlled by other people. I was using my skill, knowledge, expertise, drive and enthusiasm to build someone else's business. I actually quite like this being at home. How can I make this last? They furloughed me by text. They made me redundant by email. They didn't care about me. I was just a number. So we can show those people how exciting the future can be, and we can show those people how to build a massive second income that can become a first income. However, I think the biggest crime we can commit in lockdown is to not learn any new skills. The last thing you want to do is come out of lockdown with no new skills. It'll be a crime of the century, in my opinion. So let's now talk about the remote sponsoring mechanism. It is absolutely brilliant. And can I just share with everyone, it's here to stay. It's not a quick fix for coronavirus. It's here to stay. We were already working on this, and we were possibly going to launch it in Mad Day or the kickoffs in 2021. But again, Andrew being young and quick, we had 2 developers working on it. He straight away pulled another 40, said, get it done, get it out, get it up there. We'll improve it as we go, but we've got to give the Purple Army something to work with. We've got to not lose momentum. We've got to keep being able to service our customers. So what can we do? So this remote game changer in terms of the remote sign up, I mean, I don't know what you call it. I call it a remote sign up mechanism. You can call it whatever you want, but one thing I do know, looking across this lovely, intelligent, good-looking bunch of people on this call, I can see some of you are of a certain age where change might be a bit challenging. So we've got to address that on the call. It's here to stay. Right now, it's the only way you can build your business. It's the only way you can get customers. It's the only way you can get partners, because we're locked down. You've got to learn it. You've got to learn it. You know, change isn't easy. And sometimes we get things wrong. I remember someone coming to see me in 1983. They showed me a fax machine. I said, that'll never bloody work. How the hell are you going to send an alphabet down a telephone line? Don't be silly. It's bloody come, grown and gone. We got the internet, and now we got the web. We've got to address change. And this change is here to stay. And I've just made 10 benefits of the remote sign-up system that, and these are on my notes to Tom, so don't worry about writing them down. But it's such a brilliant tool. It really is. And we've got to master it. It's like riding a bike. We've got to learn how to do it, because once we've learned how to do it, we'll never forget it. For those of you with kids, do you remember when your child was just starting to walk and mum and dad were on the floor with their legs in like a diamond shape, just so the child didn't fall outside? And there they were. You stood them up, you held them by the waist, and they took their first step and they fell over. Right? You didn't throw the child in the corner and said, "Oi, upstairs, we better make another one." You persevered. You carried on until your child walked. This is the same. You carry on, you persevere until you master it, because these are the benefits, and I'm being serious now. We can give the disabled and handicapped self-respect and pride back. They can build a business with us now. They haven't got to be limited by their disability. They can go out and they can build a business with us. People that are challenged with young children, they haven't got to go out and get child sitters so they can go and sign a customer up or go and sign up a partner. They can do this from home now with the remote sign-up mechanism. People that can't drive for whatever reason. People that are short of money, can't put the petrol in the car. They haven't got to worry about that. They can use the remote sign-up mechanism. People that are worried, maybe they've got a customer, an appointment from a Winner Mini or for a neighbourhood letter or for cold calling or talking to somebody. They haven't got to worry about turning up at 9 o'clock in a December night when it's dark and they can't see where the numbers are in the house and they've got to meet a strange person. They haven't got to worry about that anymore because they can use the remote mechanism. People that are short on time. What about when you used to get a referral and it was long distance? You go, oh, blimey, Manchester, am I going to do that? Reach out. Have I got any mentors in Manchester and I'm in Cornwall? You don't have to worry about that now. You're mentoring yourself, screen to screen. Training, when you've got that person on board, you do the training. You know, you can do it screen to screen. It's going to help you get more customers and more partners. There's 10 reasons why this is here to stay. 10 reasons why you need to master this. Because if you can master this remote sign-up mechanism, your future is just untold what you could do with this business. It is here to stay. So please, please, please master it. However, it comes with a warning. In current lockdown environment, and even outside current lockdown environment, people don't care how much you know. Okay, people want to know how much you care. We have to lead with humanity. We do not know what's going on up here with people. So when we talk to them on the phone to set up the remote sign up, screen to screen conversation, find out where they're at. Don't go ploughing in there with a 14-pound purple hammer and hit them over the head, because it ain't going to work. We've got to show empathy. We've got to show understanding. And I'm going to share some lines to do that with you later on. So let's talk about some exciting stuff about the future, about where utility warehouse could go in the future. Firstly, if the government introduce water, deregulate water for the residential market, Charles has told me we'll be in there like a fox chasing a rabbit down a rabbit hole, because it's a perfect mix for us. The word insurance, just think of any insurance and we could go into it. You know, John Addison is our coach. He coaches Andrew and the top management here, and he's our consultant. John built his fortune with Prime America, which is an insurance company. Their whole mantra was buy term insurance, invest the difference. So I think maybe down the road, we might have a bit of a leaning towards the insurance market. So whether it's car insurance, pet insurance, whether it's identity insurance, whether it's kidnap insurance, I don't want my hair to go grey insurance, whatever it is, we could go into it. Not saying we will, but I'm saying we could. You know, I just really want to get across that I'm absolutely convinced and confident that when we come out of this, we're going to be stronger, we're going to be quicker, we're going to be more skilled. We're going to be in a brilliant position, providing you don't waste your time. So practice, 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 practice. Practice with your upline, practice with your downline, practice with your sideline, practice with the people you get on. It's so easy. Set up a Zoom, bang, no cost whatsoever. Just practice with each other till you master it. So, minimum wage. April the 6th, government put it up. I know you won't believe this, but it's now a whopping, humongous £1,400 a month outside of London. £1,400. Take your personal allowance off, you've probably got 1,340 quid. That's 4 quips in a month. That's 4 quips. Could we not take someone, let them have Sunday and work with them 6 days a week? Could we in 6 days a week not show somebody how to get one double gold daffy homeowner? And if we did that every week, they'd never have to have a minimum wage contract. They could get their time back with their family. Let me share some stuff with you that used to work now when I was out belly to belly, eyeball to eyeball. We can't do that at the moment because we're screen to screen. But I've looked at it carefully and I'm absolutely convinced that it transfers what I'm about to share with you. And what I'm going to share with you now is also on the notes that I'm sending Tom. So who can I use? Let me use Elizabeth there. You don't need to be unmuted, Elizabeth, but let's just say I'm chatting to Elizabeth, screen to screen. We're talking about becoming a double gold daffy 5-service homeowner. Somewhere along the way in the communication, I would say this to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, I work for a really unusual company. Not only are we a British PLC and been on the stock market for 2 decades now, but we only want happy, smiley customers. So if I can save you and your family some money, it would make sense to join, wouldn't it, Elizabeth? And everyone says yes. And you nod your head and they nod their head, like noddy donkey game. Everyone says yes. And then I'd say, but Elizabeth, if I can't save you any money, we actually don't want you to join because we only want happy, smiley customers. Is that okay? And if you can see their shoulders, you'll see them drop, because psychologically now they've got a way out, because psychologically they're thinking, Steve says, if he can't save me any money, I haven't got to join. So now their defences are down, they're a bit more relaxed, and they're looking forward to what you've got to say. So Elizabeth signed up. She's a double gold Daffy. Let me tell you what most of you do when you're out there belly to belly, eyeball to eyeball, when we're not in lockdown. And let me tell you what, you continue to do this when you're screen to screen. You've just got a double gold Daffy homeowner. You want to get off the call, out the house as quick as possible in case they change their bloody mind. Because the husband comes home or the wife comes home or something crops up or they start Googling us. You want to get out because you've got a double gold Daffy. Wrong. Wrong. The best time to allow anybody to purchase something from you is when they've just bought. So this is what I'd say to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, welcome to our family, the UW family. You're going to love the savings and you're going to love the single bill. But Elizabeth, can I just thank you for these 5 or 6, these 6 referrals you've given me. They're your friends and family, I take it, and people you know. I just want to promise you, I'll treat them with the same ethics and morals that I've treated to this call with you on the screen. But I'm probably going to make £300 off each one of these, which is nice commission for me. That's about, it's about £1,800. But let's be honest. Probably 1 might not be in and 2 might not be interested. But I said I work for a really unusual company. They actually want you to have that money, not me. So let's say we only get 3. That's £900. So Elizabeth, if I put £900 in your bank account in the next month or 2, what would you do with it? Now you get your prospect thinking what she'd spend the money on, even though she hasn't got it yet. Pay the credit card off, put it towards a new car, whatever it may be. And then all I say is this. Elizabeth, it's normally £100 to join, but because you're a double gold Daffy, it's only £50. And because you're taking advantage of our switch and save, because you're having a smart meter installed, we're going to put another chunk of money in your bank down the road. So indirectly, we're actually going to pay you to become a partner. And all you've got to do at the moment is sit at home, get on your iPad or your computer screen like I have with you, link up with me. I'll link in your referrals here. I'll talk to them. Okay. And for everyone that we're successful with, we'll give you the £300 once we got you registered and you've done a bit of training. How does that sound? So this is the way you take a double gold Daffy, in my opinion, into being a partner. Now, is it going to work all the time? Of course not. But let me tell you, if you don't try, it ain't going to work. If all you do is go out and get customer after customer after customer, we love you. That's great. But you're never going to become inconsequential to your income and build a big business, which we want you to do. Now, another key tip tonight. Some of you have got ideas. Some of you got wishes. Some of you got ideas. Some of you got plans. Some of you got goals. How many of you have a mission? What's your mission? Because I found that once I started to incorporate a mission into my life, everything became more important and more structured and more committed. So what's your mission? When you get up in the morning and you've allocated time to UW, and that's one thing I really do suggest we do in lockdown, is have some form of structure. So do something every day that you do, have a structure, because that keeps you grounded, in my opinion. What's your mission? Let me tell you what mine is. My mission is to help people get out of debt and live a dream lifestyle. That's my mission. If that works for you, nick it. People say to me, why do you do what you do? Because I want to help as many people as possible get out of debt and live a dream lifestyle. I'm at a networking meeting, whether that's virtual or whether that's belly to belly. What do you do for a living, Steve? I show people how to get out of debt and live a dream lifestyle. To me, it's in sync. It's not waffly. It tells people what I do, and I think it encompasses most people. So homework, have a mission. Tom be very good at that, being ex-army. He'll give you marks out of 10 when you share it with you. So let me share some nice language with you. And again, I stole this from one of my GLs. That's what I love about this business. It's another thing I absolutely love. You can steal everything and you never get prosecuted. It's brilliant. So here's another great use of language, ladies and gentlemen. Who can I talk to now? Let's say I'm talking to Sue, right in the middle of my screen there, talking to Sue. And I might say something like this to Sue. Sue, I want to ask you a question. How much extra money would make you feel safe and secure, even if it meant going outside your comfort zone in these tricky and challenging times? Just a great use of language, because what we're doing is we're getting a figure from her. She might say 300 quid. we're telling her she's got to go outside her comfort zone to get it. And we are acknowledging and respecting that we're not in normal times. Again, these are in the notes. Another thing that's really great, another great use of language is I could say to Sue, she's my friend, we've known each other for a while, we have a little chat on the phone, and I could just say something like, Sue, I really think this is something we can do together, have a lot of fun and make some money. How do you feel about coming on this journey with me if I promise to help you? Lovely little lines, not salesy. And the more you practice these, the more you go over them, the more they become part of you. Now, some simple lines from Tom Big Al Scheiter. I just found out. If you're living in a village, you could phone someone up and say, listen, I've just found out there's people in this village getting their broadband 1/3 off. Did you know about it? If they don't know what you do. Okay. Talking to somebody else. Well, you know how the vast majority of people here, they've got all their utilities on one bill. They only have one direct debit. They don't have 6 pieces of paper to deal with and 6 different direct debits. They just have them all on one bill. Did you know about that? I'm just curious, takes people internal, and excuse the unusual approach is a great line that I like to use, because most people in the UK will excuse you because it's a natural instinct to do so, and you're telling them it's going to be unusual. So if you cock it up, it don't matter because you told them it's going to be unusual, and whatever they think of it don't matter because you said it was going to be unusual. So excuse the unusual approach. So I guess my big message, guys and girls on the call today, is let's get busy now. Let's get skilled up now. Let's get practicing now. You don't want to be waiting down the road for this coronavirus to clear. You don't want to be waiting every week for what the government's saying today. I don't even listen to the telly anymore because I can't control it. What I can control is the amount of Zoom calls I do. I can control the amount of people I speak to, the amount of books I read, what I listen to, what I say to my children to support them in this kind of environment. That I can control that. I can't control what's on television, what the government are doing. So, Harvey Mackay, one of the great leaders of our decade, said, one person can't change the world, but you can change one person's world. Who can you call? Who can you talk to? Who can you share this business with? I sat in front of Charles Wigger in February 1998 and I had a lot of questions. And Charles looked at me and he said, Steve, he said, just trust me. He said, I've built a big company before and I'm going to build a big company again. You let me do what I'm good at, I'll let you do what you're good at. You go and build a network, I'll build the company. And that's all I've done for the last 22 years. My wife and I, Katie, now, we're in a wonderful position because of that, that our biggest problem every month is what do we do with the money left over? What charities do we support? What causes do we help? It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful position to be in because I didn't worry about what the company were doing. I worried about what I could do. So my big message is the company are doing great things. Let me just share this with you. When I started out, I realised that I didn't have time to drive around the company. So I did all my recruitment over the phone. I didn't leave the house because I had 2 other jobs. Time was really precious to me. And we're back in the same situation with the remote sign-up mechanism. We can't leave the house. I built a really big business without leaving the house. You can build a really big business without leaving the house. Look what the company have given us. Look at our website. And I urge you, as a bit of homework, go and look at our competitors' websites. Go and look at Amway, go and look at Herbalife, go and look at FLP, go and look at how clunky they are compared to ours. They've given us a fantastic online presence. They've given us, the partner portal, the stuff that's on the partner portal, the way you look at a Genie now, absolutely phenomenal. We've introduced business builder points. We've introduced fantastic 6-star luxury holidays. We've got Quip, we've got supporting Quip, we've got 50 quid for the referral customer. And I'm sending Tom, when I send Tom these notes, there's a great script on there from Pauline Luxmore Ball. She spoke to one customer and got 12 referrals because she pitched it on the basis, how would you like £600 in your bank next month? This is all you got to do. Great line. But have a look at what we've got to work with. And I just want to put this in perspective because I want to tell a story. I want you to imagine there's this guy called Joseph, and Joseph lives in Egypt, and he lives in a town in Egypt, right on the River Nile. And Joseph had been brought up as a God-fearing person. He went to Sunday school. He goes to church every single Sunday. He's a big help in the community. He's one of life's do-gooders. And all of a sudden, the Nile breaks its banks of water, and the town is getting flooded. And what the council decide to do is Joseph is in his late 60s. What the town decide to do is they send little canoes round to help the elderly and the frail get out of their house so they haven't got to walk and wade through all the water. And they get to see Joseph. And they say, Joseph, jump in the canoe. And Joseph says, no, I'm sorry. He said, don't worry about me. Go rescue the others. He said, because I went to Sunday school every single day. I believe in God. I go to church regularly. God will save me. Anyway, the next day, the water has risen now. It's up to the first floor. So everybody in the town now is just drowning nearly under this water. But Joseph has managed to get to the first floor. And now canoes are no good. They're now sending around boats to pick up 16 people. And they get to Joseph and they say, Joseph, jump on the boat. Don't worry about your possessions. We'll save you. He says, don't worry about me. I've been in touch with my faith. God will take care of me. I helped in the community. I went to Sunday school. I pray every night. God will take care of me. Anyway, the next day, the bloody water now is up to roof level. Joseph's on the roof holding on to the chimney stack. And they're sending helicopters round there. They've got helicopters with ladders falling off the bottom. And they get to Joseph with a loud hailer. Joseph, grab the ladder. You've got to save yourself. And Joseph says, don't worry about me. He said, God will take care of me. Anyway, he drowns. On the way up to heaven, he meets St. Peter. And he's a bit pissed off, Joseph is, I'll tell you. He's dead. He meets St. Peter and he turns around to St. Peter and he says, what went on? He said, I went to church. I supported in the community. I tithed. I gave 10% of my income to the local church. Why didn't God save me? Why didn't he save me? And St. Peter turned around. He looked him straight in the eyes. He said, Joseph, he said, wake up. He said, we sent you a canoe. We sent you a boat. We sent you a bloody helicopter. We can't do everything. And that's exactly where we are. We've got the tools. Don't worry about what the company are doing. Get on with what you've got. You've got everything you need. You've got everything you need to build an absolutely fantastic business. You know, at the real top end for you real superstars on this call, if you went and sponsored a new partner tomorrow, worked with them for 45 days, and got them 10 double gold Daffy homeowners with their contacts, they would make 3.5 grand, okay, for next month. 3.5 G's. You'd make £1 grand. And each of you would be on 40 points towards the next holiday. How cool is that? On the other end of the scale, if you just sponsored one person and helped them get £1 a week, they'd be on more than the minimum wage. So 1/3 of companies now have furloughed 75% of their workforce. Anyone got a Monty Python sense of humour on this call? Anyone got a Monty Python sense of humour? Quite dry. Let me give you my take on furloughing. I think the government are doing us an absolutely fantastic job. They're actually educating all the people that have been furloughed how residual income works on our behalf. Because think about it. If you're furloughed, you've got a chunk of money in April, you've got a chunk of money in May, and you get a chunk of money in June. And on the face of it, you done bugger all to get it. You just got a gift from the government. Okay, admittedly, it's only 2.5 grand, and after tax, it's 2 grand. But you've done nothing to get the money. But think about it. They did do something because they went for a job interview, maybe many years or many decades or many months ago, and they got the job. So they did the work once, passing the interview to get the job. And they're now being rewarded because the government are furloughing them and paying them for April, May and June. So does this sound familiar? They did the job once and they're getting paid over and over again. Only with us, you don't get paid for 3 months and you're capped at what you can get, which is 2.5 grand. We're going to pay you for month after month, year after year and decade after decade. So next time you speak to somebody, you can actually say, actually, you're already getting residual income. You're just not aware of it if you speak to them in the next 90 days. So that's my Monty Python quirky kind of take on furloughing, but I hope you appreciate it. But there we go. Anyway, let's wrap up. Let's get to the end of my presentation. I want to say a few things to you. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. if you want to kind of put where we're at in some kind of scope or contrast, we've done just over 5 weeks in lockdown, most of us. Some of us have done more. Terry Waite did 1,763 days. No books, no internet, no TV, no Netflix, no nothing. That's 5 years. We've done just over 5 weeks. Learning is in the doing, it's not in the studying. You've got to get out there and make the calls. Big message for all of you on this call. Put progress before perfection. Put progress before perfection. Don't worry about doing it perfect. Just do it. Just do it. Art Williams, who used to be John Addison's boss, got a great YouTube trip. Go on YouTube clip up there called Just Do It. It's absolutely fantastic to watch if you haven't seen it already. And here's a great thing, not a great thing, but a great piece of learning. I believe social distancing is probably here till Christmas. Okay, that's my belief. I saw something so inspiring the other day. I wanted to share it with you. I saw Dame Judi Dench demonstrating how TikTok worked on telly so that she could learn how to do it so that she could liaise with her grandchildren. Now, if an 85-year-old, okay, can master some technology, so can you. Just saying. Darwin said, the fight will not go to the most brainiest, it won't go to the most intelligent, it will go to the most adaptable. So don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. I want to finish with this. Can anyone tell me what the biggest room in the world is? What is the biggest room in the world? It is the room for improvement. Now, I know it's a bit cheesy, but I like it. So there we go. It's the room for improvement. So I'm going to finish on a story because I like my stories and I think they're great metaphors to leave you with. I want you to come with me on a journey right now. We're going to go all the way down to North Africa now, and we're going to visit a village down there that's very, very poor. And they just live off the land and they live off their animals. And about 600 families there and a bunch of kids. And once a month, a wise man comes to town. And this wise man, he's just revered by the whole villagers. And every time he comes to town, the villagers get up early, they rush out and they queue up for hours because the wise man answers all their questions on medicine, on health, on education, on their animals, on their agriculture. And he's just one of these guys that's got all the knowledge, all the wisdom, and he's just absolutely revered. And he comes the last Thursday of every month to the village. The collateral damage to that is all the kids get forgotten for that day. They get totally ignored. And they deal with it, but there's one who's had enough, Johnny. Johnny's 10. He's had enough. He just can't cope anymore. So anyway, he comes up with a plan, and his thinking is, as a 10-year-old, if I can ridicule the wise man and make him look silly, then all the adults will think I'm clever, and they'll adjust the attention from the wise man to me. So he comes up with a plan, and the plan is this. He's going to steal a perfectly ripe tomato from one of the family's, vegetable patches. And he's going to approach the wise man, and he's going to put his hands like this, and he's going to ask the wise man, he's going to say, wise man, oh wise man, what do I have in my hands? And the wise man's going to say, you have a tomato. You go, yeah, but I've got another question. Is it in pristine condition that I could give it to a friend as a gift, or is it ruined? And if the wise man said, well, it's in pristine condition, he was just going to squeeze his hands a little so all the pips came out, and he'd go, ha, you're wrong, it's ruined. And if the wise man said it was ruined, he was going to go, ha ha, it's in pristine condition. Therefore, proving to all of the villagers that he was just as clever as the wise man, and they should now pay homage to him. So anyway, it's the last Thursday of the month. The wise man comes along, all the adults have been queuing up, and Johnny gets in the queue. And he's 2-hour wait, and he gets to the front of the queue, and he says to the wise man, he says, wise man, oh wise man, he says, what do I have in my hands? And the wise man looks him straight in the eyes, and he says, Johnny, you have a tomato. And Johnny says, yes, I know I have a tomato. He said, I know you'd know that because you're very wise. He said, but I've got a second question. Is it in pristine condition so that I could give it away as a gift, or is it ruined? And the wise man just looks at Johnny straight in the eyes, and he says to Johnny, Johnny, it is what you want it to be. And that's exactly where we are on this call tonight. Utility warehouse, your business, your attitude, your work rate, your call rate, your ability to sit down and say, I'm going to master this no matter what, it's all up here. It's what you want it to be. So are you locked in your house, or are you safe in your house? Is it boring you can't go out, or is that fantastic because you make lots of phone calls? You don't want to make the calls because everyone's at home with the family. You do want to make the calls because you know everyone's at home with the family. As a wise man once said, it's what you want it to be. So I believe, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a new mindset, a new focus, new intentions, and new results for you and your family. You can go out and ring fence your family's financial future so that they never have to worry. But more importantly, you can go out and help other people do exactly the same. Tony Robbins' passion when I used to work with him, and he used to always finish his seminars with, remember, okay, life is giving, not living. Who can you give this opportunity to? I wish you everything you wish yourself. I'm going to hand back to Tom. About an hour. There we go, Tom. Over to you, my friend.
Right this second, I'm going to unmute absolutely everybody. And I want to give Steve Critchley a huge round of applause for his time and wisdom. So I've muted everybody again now. What I want to do is